can now use that to give us a result set that will be displayed. Sorry, someone is has their mic on and the person is not speaking, so it's re-echoing here. So please, if you're not speaking, could you just mute yourself? Thank you. Okay. So that is what they're having clause goes. So the rows are grouped, the group function is applied. So here, let me do this so that you understand how this would. Okay, so this is your rows are grouped. You understand? Your rows are grouped here. Since you are grouping your rows here, the group function is applied. The group function is applied. Your rows are grouped here, rather. Your group function is applied, and groups matching the having clause is displayed. So that's what we have your where, you have your group by, there you have your having. So, but what we can't do is, in this, the having clause that you have here, or your where clause, we can't use aggregate functions in our where clause. We've said there, but in our having clause, we can further segregate our groups to make sure that it's only so we can have our lower bounds, upper bounds, and things like that in the results that we want to display for our groups. Okay. So let's see this example. We are selecting department number and the maximum salary. And you can see what we have here now. Our maximum salary here, we are using the maximum salary again in the having clause. And this is something we can't do in the where clause. We can't do the where. We can't put this aggregate function or this group function. We can't put it in the where clause, but we can put it in the having clause. So if we write this query out here, and then just do we have select let's say employee the department ID, and we have the maximum of the salary. Employees the salary. Employees. We want to group by grouping by employees, the department ID. And then we are seeing having the maximum salary. Still the same maximum salary now. No, we are looking for the maximum salary generally. That's what we are looking for. But then we are now seeing the maximum salary greater than. So we are using the maximum salary twice, having the maximum salary. Let us do this for so that you understand. So let us just group by maximum salary. So you'll see the results that we have. So we can see the maximum salary per department now. For department 70, it is 10,000. For department 80 is 14,000. These are all the maximum salaries we have. Now we are now saying, now we now want to say, okay, having. So in this group that we already have, so this is the first part of this query. In this group, we have seen the salaries, the maximum salaries for each of the departments. Since we are grouping by departments, we have seen the salaries, the maximum salary in each of these departments now. Now, furthermore, in each of these departments now, how do we now know? We now say, okay, we want the maximum salary. Who earns the maximum salary that is greater than this amount? So let us see what that gives us now. Having maximum of salary. Where is the salary? Saying it's greater than, let's say 5,000. Let us run this query. Max. Okay, let's just run. Oh, sorry. We have an error here. Group by employees, the department ID. Okay, so we can see here, this is still the same thing that we got in the last query we run. Now we are saying that, okay, maximum salary, still the same, but should we reduce this further? Let's reduce this further. I was hoping we'll get something that makes it more explanatory for us. Okay, let's do minimum salary. Okay, let's say minimum salary. Let's do minimum. Don't let us do minimum salary. Let's say minimum salary less than 2,500. Then we should be able to get different results now. Okay. So now let us look at this. Let's say having more salary less than 2,500. Now, can anybody explain what just happened here for us? Hello, guys. Are you here?
Yes, sir, we are. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm trying to just grapple why it's giving a result of okay.
Okay. Okay, so let me run this query again so that we see what has happened here. Okay, so what we have here is the maximum salary in each of these departments. So the highest person in department 70 earns 10,000. The highest salary, the person in department 80 earns, this is what they earn. This is what the highest paid person here earns. Is this correct? Do you
Yes, sorry.
understand what I'm going to do?
Yes, so that means that you're not choosing, because I wanted to ask, you're not choosing the column for max salary, but you're actually aggregating it, right? That's
Yes,
what you're saying.
yes. No, we are not choosing the column. We are actually aggregating it. That's what we are doing, actually. We are aggregating it.
Okay, thank you very much. And then you're trying to find the minimum salary from this that is less than 2,500 from this aggregation.
Okay, so now what has happened here is this. So in each of these departments, now this query now that we have on board that we ran now, what has happened in this query is this. Each of the people here, each of these departments here, what they earn, what the highest paid person earns is what we have on board. So in each of the departments, the highest paid person there earns 10,000, 14,000, 13,000, 4,000. For that is what they earn. Now, when we are saying having minimum employee salary less than 2,005, what we are not looking for is now the employee ID, the department ID, where the person that earns the least there earns less than this amount. Let me run this query so that you guys see it again. So we still get the maximum. This is the maximum employee salary. It's still going to give us, because this is a field we are getting. Let us do this so that you can understand better. Let us put salary here. Let us put salary here. I hope this would not be throwing us errors. Let us put employee.first name here. Okay. Let us employee.first name here. Let us put employees. I hope this would give us what we want, but let us just try. Let us try and see if this gives us what we want. Should throw an error from. Okay, so this is where I have an error. Okay. It is telling us to count. So this is the same error it was giving us yesterday. I know you know this error already. So really do not want to do this so that it can give us clarity, but let us just do minimum here. Let's do minimum here and let's run this query. This should run. Okay. So what I was trying to do with the query, so in this query now, we can see, actually, I think that I can use this to explain better now. Now, the maximum salary, this maximum that we see here is the salary of somebody in department 50. Let us look for that person. How can we find the person? Okay, let us just do a select. I want you to see this thing and see it as not something that it's let me do employees dot department ID, comma, first name. I just want you have a mental picture of what we've talked about so far. Let's do first name. Let's do salary, employees, the salary, and what else do we want to do? Okay, let's do first name and salary. I think that should be enough. Okay, let us do department ID. Let's do department, let's do job ID here. Okay, let's do where, okay, from employees. And we say where employees the department ID is equal to 50, so that we can see this. Okay, let's say where employees the department ID is equal to 50 and salary between, okay, let's just run this first. Don't let us overcomplicate things. I hope the people in the department, they are not so much. Okay, so this is department 50 and people are plenty there. Okay, so we can see, do you still have a mental picture of what the last query we ran? You still remember
Yes.
the result set? Okay.
Yes.
Now, the last query we ran, this is the last query we ran. Let me run it again. Okay, we have the minimum salary here, and this is 2,100, which is less than 2,500. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and then the person that earns the highest in that department earns 8,200. And then it's the person, they are in department 50. Yeah? Right?
Right.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Was it,
So,
please, sorry. Okay, let me wait for you first.
okay, should I go on or should I stop?
No, it's just with this last query. That's just the only question that's been on my mind because you said having minimum less than 2,500.
Yes,
Oh,
that is what I'm trying to explain.
okay.
Just hold
What
on.
I've been thinking you
Get it.
wrote was having maximum of employed or salary less than 2,500, and I was
No,
wondering
no,
why
no.
he gave.
I said having minimum of employees dot salary less than 2,500. It's minimum, not
Okay,
maximum.
okay. Thank you so much. It's very clear. Thank you.
Okay, 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 okay. So now, now running this query we have here. So we have we know that Matthew is a manager, he earns 8,200. And if we scroll really down, we can see people who earn 2,400. We can see somebody who earns 2,200. Someone who now earns 2,100. Who is TJ? But what we are saying is the minimum employee salary. So the minimum employees, the most minimum employee salary, we'll see people that earn 2,400, 2,200, but we are having the person who earns the least in that department. But it's not just this department alone now, when you look at this holistically now, because the query we are running here is we are asking for everybody. We are saying having a minimum employees the salary less than this. So we can extrapolate and say that, okay, I think it's department 50 that they earn the lowest salary, because the person who earns in that department probably earns less than 2,500. But what we have done here is we have found the maximum salary in one department. And then we also now have the minimum salary in that same department. So this is what this query has done for us. So it looks for the maximum salary, and then it groups them by employee department. That's what it does with the first group by. Now, when we say having minimum salary less than 2,500, it now looks for the minimum employee salary should be less. So in all of these departments, who earns the least and is the salary less than 2,500 naira? 2005. Now, let us see the value of that. So that is what this query does. So I hope this is clear, or should I go over it again?
For me, it is. I don't know about others.
It's clear, sir.
It is clear. Okay, that's great.
Mm.
Okay, so we've talked about the having clause here. So this is how it will run actually. So the department number, the maximum salary employee group by department number. So what we now have is the maximum salary across departments. I think we've done this actually. Now, when we now have the having clause, we are saying the maximum salary should be greater than this. So that is now what we have as a result. Now, using the having clause, we can use it to do more than that. Like, look at what we have here. We have the job. Now, this is a perfect case of when you are combining a lot of things together. Now, we have the job ID, the salary. We are summing the salary. Now, this is now, we are summing the salary. You can see the sum here. And then when we are summing salary, we know that we are actually doing a group by, because we are using the sum here. We are summing the salary, and then we are saying probably the sum is payroll. The sum as payroll is not written from employees. Now, we are job not like sales. We are looking for people that their job is not in sales. They are not doing anything like SAL. They are not in sales at all. We are grouping it by the job ID. So people that are not in sales, we are grouping them by their jobs. We are saying that the sum of the salary, that same salary, is greater than 5,000. So the total amount of the payroll, of their payroll, is greater than 5,000. And then we are now ordering by the sum. Let us try this query. Looks interesting, so that I can use this query to explain to you. And then we can move on and then see if we can do quite some other things. Okay, so let me just write this query as it's written here. Select job ID, employee the job ID, comma, have the sum, salary. Employees the salary. Your IntelliSense works. The more you use your IntelliSense in any of these places, the more it works actually. So let us do max of salary also. Let's do max of employees the salary. Salary from employees, where employees the job ID. Job ID. This is when we say like, okay, I think let us use not like. When we are using the word not, I think we talked about it yesterday. Do I remember? I think we talked about the not operator yesterday. What it does, it just negates what we are looking at. So that's what that does. Then we say not like, and then let us do, we talked about this yesterday also. Let us just use, this is sales. What they have written here as sales. When we write sales this way, and then we put this is, we are saying, what does this, the percentage character mean?
So is it a question?
I said, what does this percentage character in front of sales mean? Or
Okay,
sales?
for me, from my understanding, it's a wild card that signifies that any number of characters after sales, after the word sales is allowed. That's the query that should be, that's the query that should not be shown. Like not like any number of characters after sales. That's the selection from my understanding.
No, I'm not talking about the query. I'm just talking about when you did, what does that percentage character mean when we are talking about regular expressions? What does that character itself mean? You know, we talked about 3 yesterday. We talked about this. We talked about this. And then we talked about this character yesterday. And we said these are the most common ones we use for regular expressions. So I'm asking, when I write sales this way, what does that percentage sign indicate?
Yes, sir. I think from what I know, from what you said yesterday, it means that the character that follows sales, that either one or multiple character.
Okay, that's great. What does the underscore mean?
Just one character. It denotes one character.
That's great. Okay, so now if you know that this is one or multiple characters and this is just one character, now let us rewrite these cells. How do we rewrite these cells so that we still get these cells, but we don't have so many characters? We don't want to write all of cells. We don't want to write all of these cells in full. We just want to write it, but we want to write it. So how do we write it so that we just get cells? Or cells will be part of the result set it will give us?
I think we can write just S with the percentage.
All right, S with percentage. Okay. Okay, I think that's a good idea. Let us try with S with percentage. If we are wrong, what's your name so that we know who's talking?
Doing.
Okay, so but this would work. But what this would do is this is just going to give us infinite amount. You understand? But what we are trying to do is we just want that sales. We want sales, but we don't want to write all of the sales. So yes, while writing S would work, you understand? We could do something like, okay, S, and then we know this is one character, right? You understand? Or we can do something like sales. We can say it just has one character here. You understand? Or we can write S here, and we can say it just has one character here. Or we can still do that S, we can say, okay, this is just one character. And then, this is sales. But yes, we can now say, okay, just one character in front of this. And then we can say, okay, this could be this percentage sign. Now, this increases our odds of whatever we have actually being very close to sales than just having S in front of it and just having just multiple characters in front of it. That can be SB, SG, ST, can be a whole lot of things. You understand? But since you have initialized it with SA now, you understand? I say, okay, this can be. So it can be actually, you can even just write it as SA and having multiple characters there can be anything in front of it. But we know it's going to start with SA, and that's closer to sales than. But there are other ways we can actually write it. We might not even write more than 3 characters. And then every time we look for what we are going to get is sales. You get. But so let us just write it the way you've said we should write it so that we can increase our chances or maybe not our chances, and then we'll see where this leads us. So we are doing a group by employee, the job ID. Okay, we can group by department ID, right? Let's go by job ID since we want to look for their job ID. Job ID, and we say having sum of salary, the sum of the employees, the salary. Having employees, the salary, we are saying it's less than 5,000. Now, some of it's being greater than, I think it should be greater than 5,000, and then we are ordering by okay, let us leave the okay, let us do the order by. Let us do the order by. We can order by the sum. And then while we are ordering by the sum here, you will see it. So let us just also order by the sum of the salary. Understand? Let us order by the salary. Okay, so let us run this query. Okay, so now when you look at this query, what do you think this query is doing? You can see that the S asterisk that we put, I think the job ID, where job ID not like, no, everything that is not like S, that is what it's giving us, which is what it should do. So we're not going to get sales, but if we say like S, okay, so let us just clear the not like and the like out now. Let us say like S now, and let us run this query. You'll see it's going to give us hopefully something different. You see it gives us something different. This one has S in front of it. You understand? The other result said that we have did not have S in front of it at all. You understand? Now, the sum is the total sum of the salary. We are having the maximum of their salary now. And then if you look at the way this is ordered now, you see it's ordering by the sum. It's ordering by the sum of their salary. So you can find that, and then the sum now, you can look at the sum. Look at the way this sum is arranged now. And this is the default arrangement when you order by and you do not put anything. The default arrangement is in ascending order, which is lowest. For numbers, it is lowest to, it starts from 1 and then it increases down. Now, but if you want to do it, if we do this, this is going to arrange this in the descending order. You see that it changes it top down. So the highest is up, then everything comes, right after. What we had was it started at 36,000 and then went downwards to 250,000. But now we have changed it. So we know that people that earn more and then the people that the couple of things we are doing here is what we've talked about earlier also. This is the job, the employee, the job ID. We are doing this also. So we are getting this out. We know the employee ID that we are using to get this out. That's important to the questions we are asking or trying to answer. The other thing that is important to the question that we are trying to answer here is the sum of the salary. We want to know how much they earn and then the maximum. Now, the group by, what this group by does is this. Group by, when we talked about group by previously, the group by operation we used, we looked at it on the department ID, which was numbers. But in this case, the group by we are using it on something that is not numbers. So if you had something like colors here, it would work because it's just an identifier. So it groups all the sales rep together. And if it were a shoe, and then we were looking at different colors, it's going to be the same thing. We can have red color, we can have blue color, we can have yellow color, and this could be probably you're trying to get inventory, and then you are looking at, okay, how much have you sold in your inventory, or how much is the total sales of what you have had for each particular shoe size. And this could be a query that could work for you. So this query, I hope this query is understandable.
Yes, for me, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I think I am okay. So the same thing follows here. This could be us I think this is really understandable for everybody. The maximum of the average salary. So we are finding the average salary, and then we are finding the maximum of the average salary. But then we are now grouping by department number. So I think that this should be understandable for everybody from what we've talked about. So we can actually nest group functions the same way. Sorry, short. The same way we can do something like the same way we can do something like count. You can do count distinct or distinct count. And then we do a count. Understand? Or count distinct. It's the same way we can do max average. Understand? But when we are doing max average, we know we are using a group by clause, and this is just appropriate. We just group by the department number, and then this would what will give us. It will just give us the maximum average salary um, from all the departments. That's what it would give us. Okay, so we are actually done with not everything, with some of the things, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to share some exercises for you guys to look through. But what we've done so far is we have talked about some group functions. We didn't touch two group functions, but I think let me just write the group functions we didn't touch. We didn't touch this group function. We didn't touch standard deviation. And you can actually do standard deviation in Excel. We didn't touch variance. We didn't touch this. And then I think there are a couple more, but the most important ones are the average, sum, mean, max, and then I think counts. So these are the ones that most people would always use. But you can do standard deviation, and then you can do all these other ones also. So maybe you would need it later on. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and then I'm going to share some exercises for you guys to just run your hands through presently in a minute, please. Okay. Okay, I think we'll go the long route. Let us just continue with the class. And then I think we just have all the classes, all your assessments, all of them together. I think that works better. Let us just continue. Or do you guys want to take a break? We go for 5 or 10 minutes. Hello, guys. Do you want a 5-minute break?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, let's take a 5
Okay,
minutes break.
sir.
Okay, let's take a 5 minutes break then. Hello guys, I think our 5 minutes is up. Can we move on? Hello? Hello guys? Hello guys?
Hello, sir.
Okay, can we proceed? Are you all here?
I'm here. I am here.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, I'm
So,
back, sir.
okay, thank you very much for being back. Welcome back. Okay, so the next thing we'll be looking at is subqueries. Now, the whole purpose of subqueries is to how do I put it? Break down your work into simpler tasks. That is one. But more importantly, you would usually find situations where the data you're trying to extract, you can't get it as a whole. You can't get it immediately. You would need to get it from a data set that you need to get it from another result set, but you need the result as one. Okay, so let me see if I can demo this for you. So let's say we say we are writing, we have a select statement. We are trying to, okay, how do I explain? Okay, so let's say we have a database. Let's say we have a select statement. We are trying to get, let's say, first name, comma, last name, and then a lot of things. But what we want is not just the first name and last name. We want to actually find out possibly if there is in this first name and last name of this person, in the first name and last name of these two people here, we have maybe similar words or two similar words, but we just want one result set. Now, if we are selecting first name and last name, and we say, okay, select first name and last name from, let's say, employees. Now, let us try to see. Now, we want to find if there is a similar word between this name and this name. And that's what we want. That's what we want to get. Now, in the first name and last name that we have here, there is no where clause that we want to write that is going to give us that. However, if we write another select statement, and now in that select statement that we are writing, we can say, okay, where first name like, and then we can say where last name like, and then we can write that part of the statement. We can write it separately to give us a result. Now, when we get that result out, from that result set that we have gotten, we now select the first name and last name of the peoples or the employees that have similarities between their first name and their last name. It's similar to us when we are trying to do an in statement. So we are now selecting this first select statement that we are writing here, up here, is just going to now select from a result set that we already have and not trying to get result sets that we do not have, because that might make the job probably maybe complicated for us. Oh, sorry, Chochi, you are going to get all the questions together. So I just want us to just try to clear this off all at once.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're going to get all the questions all at once with your capstone also. Okay, so that's why we would use, one of the major reasons why we would use subqueries. But let me just get into it actually. So describe the type of problems that subqueries can solve, define subqueries, list the type of subqueries, and then you should be able to write single row and multiple row subqueries, hopefully. Now look at this query now. Which employees have a salary greater than John's salary? Can you guys try to write that query? Now, if you wanted to write this query regularly, if we are writing this query on a regular, what we'll be doing is this. So we say select. So the question is, who has a salary greater than Jones's salary? So Jones has a salary, but we want people who earn more than Jones. That's what we're trying to solve. So if we have this, and we are trying to write this as a single query now, we say select first name, comma salary. We'll say from employees. I will say where first name like Jones, right? Because we just want Jones. And then we can put this one there. Now, so how do we now write which employee has a salary greater than Jones' salary? Because what we can have here is we can select just Jones and what Jones earns. But what we want is which employee has a salary that is greater than Jones' salary. And now, but what the way we will solve this problem is to find out how many people actually earn more than Jones. Then we now find how much is Jones earning. So the main query is trying to find anybody. So we would have something like select first name and salary where salary greater than, we have a salary now, is greater than, then we now find how much is Jones's salary. Which is a simpler problem to solve. I hope you guys are understanding what we are doing here.
I do. Thank you.
Okay, how many people don't understand?
I don't understand it, sir.
You don't understand? Okay, that's okay if you don't understand. Okay, so let me clear this off. Okay, so now the problem is how many people earn more than Jones? That's the problem we are trying to solve. Now, there are two ways of solving this problem. But the way we know would not help us solve it. Because if you wanted to write, okay, so, okay, let's do it. The person that said she doesn't understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, can you help us write this query? Who has a salary greater than Jones's? If you wanted to write this query, how would you write it?
After selecting the salaries,
okay, now we'll just follow your lead. Okay, I should select salary. Okay.
Okay, select first names.
Okay.
Then from employees.
Come again?
From the table, employees.
Okay.
Then where
Yeah.
salary is greater than Jones.
Where
so I'm stuck.
Okay, so it's okay
Because John's salary is not stated.
Yeah, John's salary is not stated. Okay. So we are doing two things. We want to know how much does Jones earn, and we are not giving. And the second thing is we want to find out people who earn more than Jones. That's the second thing we are trying to do. So it's two things. So we first have to find Jones's salary. So, but if we know Jones' salary, you understand, what we'll do is we'll select salary first name from employees, where salary is greater than, let's say Jones's salary is 5,000. And then, we have solved the problem, right? Hello?
Provided
this
that
is
Jones' salary is,
assuming we know that Johnson's salary is
salary is
5,000.
5,000.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we would
Yes,
have
sir. We'll
solved the
have solved the
problem.
problem
Yes,
if we knew.
if we knew how much Jones earns, then we would have solved this problem. But we don't know how much Jones earns. So that is where a subquery comes in. So now to solve this problem, we need one query to find out what Jones earns, and then a second query to find who earns more than that amount. So what we now do is we write one query, and then we now have a query. So we have two queries. We want one query to find out how many people earn more than Jones. But before we can find out how many people earn more than Jones, we want to know what Jones earns himself. Let us go to we'll come back here, but let us try to see the futility of what we are trying to do earlier. But I hope you are getting all of this right. Okay, I want to do this. Clear all my drawings. I want to close this. Okay, so if we wanted to know Jones, actually, we don't know if there is a Jones here, but let's say we do a select, and then we say first name, comma, salary, and we say from employees. Now we've done that, and we can say where salary is greater than a number. Let's say we say salary is greater than 5,000. If Jones earns 5,000, you understand, and then we'll get a result. These are all the people that earn greater than 5,000, but we don't know how much Jones is earning. Now, but let's say we have a select statement also. We select, want to select first name, first name. We don't even need to select, okay, let's say we don't need to select the salary, but let's say we select the salary, but the salary is not needed for us to select actually, the salary. And then we say from employees. I don't think we have a Jones, but we would know if we have a Jones here. From employees, where how do you put it now? Where employee dot first name, where first name like Jones, right? Let's do that. Where first name like Jones. I don't think there is a Jones here, but hopefully there is one Jones we can use here. Okay, there is no Jones here. Let us find somebody else. Not necessarily Jones. We can have anybody that's name starts with J. Hopefully we'll find somebody here. Okay, like John. Okay, let's say Josie. I think, okay, let's say Josie. We would hope that it's only Josie that is here. So that we don't, let's hope, okay, it's only Josie that is here. That's good. Now we know how much Josie earns now. So if we were to put 7,800 here, we would know people who earn more than Josie, right? But the problem we have now is we don't have two queries to write. We just have one query. So it is now to find how much is this salary this person earns. Then who earns more than it? So what we will do is the query that is here, this our select that we have here. We want to put it somewhere here. Yes, salary, we can say we want to see. So we have two statements here now. Let me put this here. This is a statement that should hopefully, maybe, I don't think this is a query that will work, but let us just, we are trying to explain two things to each other. Okay, are you following what we are saying here?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
we have this salary that is coming from here. You understand? So let us remove this here. We have this salary that is coming from here. Then we have a salary is going, this is going to be a figure. This is going to return just one salary. Let us run this query again so that you see just this one.
Yeah.
Let us run this query. This will return 7,800, right? But we want people who earn more than 7,800. So what we are comparing is, we are looking for all employees who earn more than this salary when we know the salary. So when we find the salary, we can now do something like this. I don't think this query should run, but okay, this query would not run, yes. Now, we are not looking for people who earn more than this. So we are finding people whose salary is greater than the salary of this person that is here. Do you understand? Because this is just the idea we are trying to find. Do you understand what we have here?
For me, I do.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go on with the explanations. So this is, so we'll find what the salary is, then we'll find which employees have a greater salary than Jones's salary, which is what we're trying to do. Now, the way we will write that is where, it's still the same thing we are writing. We have select list from table where salary is greater than from this select list. So the inner query executes before the outer query. So this is going to be a result set. And this other result set is going now to pick its own result from this. So we have two tables. There is a prior table, there is a main table, and then there is a table that determines, that depends on the other table for the result it wants to get. That's the way this works. So the first, this select statement that is here, this select statement that is here is the first statement that will be executed. And now the result from here would now be evaluated here. And then this would now give us another result set. So that is what happens. And that is the whole idea of a subquery. That's the whole idea of a subquery. So, and it's the same thing we were trying to do, or it's the same thing we are trying to do actually. So if we come to our statement now, we bring this our select down. I think this should so this runs first. Then this now runs. Do you understand this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
but I don't know what button you used to move that soft query. Did you use tab or did you use space?
I didn't get that.
You know the sub query is somehow indented. How
Okay.
were you to make it look indented? Did you use
No, I
tab?
just Just tab. I didn't use anything. I just used
Okay, tab. Okay,
I just
all right.
used tab. I just used tab. I just used tab. That's what I just used. Okay. So let us move on. Okay. So you have this result set being put into this subquery, and then you have the result set that we now want. So these are guidelines for using subqueries. Enclose subqueries in parentheses. That was why I was saying this would not work when I first wrote that result, because I knew you had to put it inside a parenthesis. Your select statement that your outer, you have to select statement. One is outer and one is inner. One is outer and one is inner. So the inner subquery, you enclose it in parentheses. And then you place subqueries on the right side of the comparison operator. We have a left side greater than, lower sign, or something like that. You have it there. So you have it, whatever you are trying to use as how do I put it? Let me show you this on the screen so that you can see it. So the first thing is enclose your subqueries in parentheses. This is the inner query. This is the outer query. The inner and the outer query the inner query should be enclosed in parentheses. Place your subquery, the one that is inside, that is the one we call subquery, on the right side of the comparison operator. This is the right side of the comparison operator. Do not add an order by to your subquery. We can add an order by to our outer query. Now, when you look at this query now, from this parenthesis to this parenthesis is the end of this query that we are seeing. I can come here and write something else here. And what I am writing here is part of this outer query, not part of this inner query. Anything inside this parenthesis is part of the inner query. Anything outside of the parenthesis is part of the outside. Anything in the in the parenthesis is part of the inner query. Anything outside the parenthesis is part of the outer query. That's one. Two, do not add an order by clause to a subquery. Don't put an order by clause inside your subquery. You can put your order by clause here. We can put an order by clause here and say order by. You can say we want to order by probably department ID. You can say we want to order by salary. You can say we want to order by salary. And yes, it will order this for us by salary. It will order this for us by salary. We can say we want to order this by salary in descending order. And it will do just that for us. It will do that for us. It will do that for us. But we can't put this order by, we can't put it inside our subquery. You understand? Also, use single row operators with single row queries. Now, what you are looking at here is you can't use, if this query we are writing was supposed to use a group by function, this operator here would not be ideal. It would not be ideal for this. Use single row operators with single row queries. Use multiple row operators with multiple row queries. You might not understand that, but when we get more into single row queries and multiple row queries, you will see what we mean by that. Okay. Okay, I think we are done with this. Okay, so types of subqueries. We have single row subquery. It returns just one value. Understand? So what's a single row query? Single row subqueries return only one row from the inner select statement. They retrieve just one row. The query we wrote now, it was a single row subquery because what it was retrieving was inner. It was just one value. Now, if we did something like this, so that we can see this. So we said select where employee name like Jose, because when we're doing this, we wanted to make sure it was only Jose we had. But if we did this, let me comment out this. And let us do, let me just run this query on its own. Let us just run this query. You will see here we are getting quite a number of values here. Now, if we run this query, let us run this query. If we run this query here, we are saying how many people earn more than Josie? That is our question. But from what we have here, we have 5 salaries. So what this query is doing now is not a single row subquery again. It has now become a multiple row subquery. It is no more single because a single row subquery would bring just one row. A multiple row subquery will bring several rows of data. And then the action you will perform on a multiple row subquery most times will be different from the actions you want to perform on a single row subquery. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have your main query, we have your subquery. A single row subquery will return just this clerk. A multiple row subquery will return just these two, will return more than these two, or could be 2 or more. Now,
Wow.
hello?
So we hear you.
Somebody said, wow.
No, I mean like okay. I was just saying I understand. I meant I understand better with the issue as you have showed me.
Okay. I'm glad that you understand. Okay, so you can have single row subquery, we can have multiple row subquery, and then we can have multiple column subquery. So these are usually the types you would have. These are the most common types. Every other thing will be probably a mix and match of this. Now, but this is just it. You have a single row subquery returns just one value. You're evaluating against that value. A multiple row subquery returns more than one value, but a multiple column query returns several columns for you to now work on. Now, single row subqueries. This is please, if you don't understand anything in subqueries, please understand these things. This is what you use when you are using single row subqueries. If your subquery is meant to just throw out just one result for you, use single row comparison operators. Equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, less than, not equal to. You are fine. Now, let us go back to this thing so that you can see how this translates. So you can see this our query that we have here. You can see that this one is returning plenty of rows, right? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sorry, yes. I
Yes.
can see.
Okay, so let us run this query. Now, more than one row returned by a subquery used as an expression. Now, when you look at this now, it tells you more than one row is row, but what it's telling you is how to fix it. It's telling you that the comparison, if you look at this operator, I say now, used as an expression, the expression you are using here will not work. What you are using to compare or what you're trying to use to get a value here will not work because it's several things that is here. Now, can anybody tell me what we can use instead of this greater than that can work? Out of all the operators that we've talked about in this course, Can anybody tell me what operator we can use that can work for this multiple row subquery that you have just written? Hello, guys.
Yes, sir. We are
Hello.
with you.
Yes, I know you are with me. You are not talking. So I think if you guys are not going to see anything, we can end the class.
Should
I'm
it
waiting for
be
you guys to talk.
percentage symbol? No.
Please, let's speak up. Or is it the network that is the issue?
Sir, could it be the percentage symbol?
Come again?
Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're not very audible. I'm listening, guys. So what can we use instead of the greater than sign? Hello? So what can we use? We've talked about so many operators in this class. These are part of the ones we've talked about. So I've talked about greater than, we've talked about some others. So out of the other ones that are not in the table I just showed you, which one do you think we can use? Okay, we'll come back to this later. Okay. So executing single rule subquery. So this is a very interesting type of subquery where you have two types. You have two subqueries in a single query, like a larger body of a query. And this is possible. You first are looking for, the first is you want to evaluate it from two things. If you want to truly understand what this is saying is, okay, you want you are looking for the job of the person, where the employee's number is this. That's the first thing you're looking for. So you are looking for the job ID. Then you are looking for the salary of the employee who is this. But what you are looking for is not that alone. But what you are looking for is you are looking for the name and the job of an employee, of two employees rather. We are looking for the job ID of one employee. We are looking for the salary of another employee. So these are just two single queries, and you can see that it's still these operators that work here. So here, what will happen is this will get the salary here. So if this is still the same query, if we block out what we have here, if we shade all of this out, we can say where job ID equals maybe IT manager and salary is greater than 5,000. I think this is understandable, right? If you block out exactly all of this that is here, if we were to cross them out, if we were to cross all of this out, I hope you guys are following me. Hello? Are you guys here?
Yes, we are, sir.
Okay. So if we were to block all of this out, it's still the same thing as saying select employee name and job ID from employee, where job is maybe sales manager and salary is greater than 5,000. This is perfectly reasonable. And this is the same thing this type of query is trying to do. So you can actually have more than one subquery in a larger query. You can have more than one subquery in a larger query, depending on what you're trying to do. It all depends on what you're trying to do, but you can have that. It's a possibility. So this gives us clerk, gives us a salary, and then we'll have we have a result. We have an employee, and then we have a job. The job ID and then the employee name, we have both of them. Okay, using group functions in a subquery. Okay, so when you have group functions will give you, how do I put it? It's still the same way you will write a subquery. There is nothing different about it. You are still doing your select, but you are saying, okay, where this, and then you are selecting the minimum salary. You see that this is still going to give us just one value. You are selecting minimum from this. That is what you are selecting. So this is legal, this works. And then just whose salary, what this would give us is all employees, you understand, whose salary is equal to the minimum salary. So all employees whose salary is equal to the minimum salary, this is what this query would give us. So we want to find the minimum salary of all employees. So if we wanted to find the minimum salary of all employees, we can say, okay, select employee name, job, and salary from employee where salary is less than or equal to. When we say where salary is less than or equal to minimum salary, we talked about the facts in one, I think today, that we can't use where, and then we can't use group functions inside where. We talked about that. But if you are reasoning about a query and you are thinking about using the where clause and a group function inside it, then it's almost time for you to write a subquery. And this is a perfect example of how just you can write one. Okay, having clause with a subquery, this is still almost the same. It's still that follows from what we've talked about. So we are selecting the department number, minimum salary from employee group by this, and we are saying having this. Now, what we are doing here is this. This query, what does this query do? This query selects the minimum salary from employees for everybody in department 20. You understand? And this one selects the department number and the minimum salary from employee. We are grouping by department number. But what we are trying to find out is we are trying to find the departments. You understand? We are trying to find a department where their minimum salary is greater than the minimum salary of department 20. That is what you are trying to do here. So, but this also, if you look at this also, this is still a single row subquery, because you are just getting the minimum salary of one department, not of several departments. So we are still going to be using our greater than, we'll still be using our less than, we'll still be using our is equal to, and all other operators that we are still very much familiar with. Okay, so, but what is wrong with this statement? Can anybody guess what's wrong with this statement? Hello? Hello, guys. You can talk.
Yes.
Hello, sir. I
Yes.
joined the class late, but maybe I can give it a try.
Okay, please go ahead.
Um, okay, so I'm thinking that so select employee number name from employee where salary is select one from okay, I think I will skip this one. I'm not sure I can try it.
Okay.
Maybe
So
someone
who
else
wants to
will.
give it a try? Who wants to give it a try? There is a problem with this query. What's wrong with this statement? Does anybody want to give this a try? Nobody. Okay, let's move on.
Someone wrote a message in the comments.
Yes, I saw the message. The person. Okay. Okay. Nope. We are selecting where salary is. No, when we select, somebody already entered at the question, actually. Entered at the answer. Someone already entered at the answer. When we say select minimum salary from employee group by department, what result does this give us? That is the question. What type of result does this give us? Someone already asked the answer. Somebody already mentioned the answer also.
So from the beginning, salary is not mentioned. So the first query, I don't know. So you're saying you want the employee number and you want name. And I don't know, I feel like there should be salary here. Again, I joined the class late, so I don't know. I'm just asking. Or I'm just suggesting rather.
Okay. Thank you very much for your suggestions. They have been very helpful and are grateful to have them. Okay. Okay, so when we write this statement, let us do this. Let's write this, our select statement that we have got. Now we have select minimum salary from employees. And we are saying group by I say department, I think department ID, department underscore, is it department ID. Okay. So what type of results will we get when we run this query? Hello, guys. What type of result set will we get when we run this query?
It will give the minimum salary in the department.
It will give the minimum salary of. Let me put department ID here.
Okay.
It will give the minimum salary of each department ID. So what is wrong with this statement now?
The depth, the department number is missing from the first query.
Now, when we started talking about this, we talked about operators and we said there are several types of subqueries. There is single row subqueries, there is multiple subqueries, and then there is multiple column subqueries. Now, we also said that there are certain operators you will use with only single row subqueries. Now, what result set does this give us? This one that we are looking at here, what type of result set does it give us? That was what I just showed here.
Yes, it just give the minimum salary, but the department ID is missing.
I can't. What did you say?
I said the department ID is missing, so we don't know if it gives the
It's
minimum
not
salary.
about the department ID missing here. When we started this class, or when we probably some few minutes ago, we talked about types of subqueries. We said we have single query, we have multiple row subqueries, then we have multiple row, multiple column subqueries. Then we talked about comparison operators, and we said that there are types of operators that you use with single row subqueries. Now, the result set from this, is it a single row subquery or is it a multiple row subquery?
Multiple row subquery.
Now, what operator are we using for it? You don't get it. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah. We talked about single row subquery, multiple row subquery, multiple column subquery, right? And then we said with single row subquery, you use single row comparison operators. Do you get it now?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
So what is wrong with, where is our query again? What is wrong with this statement now? Hello, guys. What is wrong with this statement now?
Because the answer we got is not single row. It's multiple row subqueries, and it's single row operator that was using it. Just equal to.
Thank you very much. Okay. So that's it. That's it. Single row operator with multiple row subquery. Okay. Will this statement work? Evaluate it from the inner subquery. Will this statement work? Evaluate it from your inner subquery. Evaluate it starting from this place. What's wrong with this thing? Evaluate it from, will this query work? Evaluate it from the inner subquery. What result set will this subquery will it give us? Is it single row? Is it multiple row?
Single row, sir.
Single row. Okay. I'm saying select job from employee where employee name is Smithy. Now, okay. How many people say multiple row? How many people say single row? And then if you are saying single row, tell me why it's single row. If you are saying multiple row, just explain to me why you think it's a multiple result that it's going to give us.
I said it's single row because it will give Smith's job. Just Smith's job.
Okay. Anybody voting for multiple rows? Okay, now, in this case, now, assuming the name is correct, and this is the name of somebody there, then obviously we are going to have maybe Smithy, but now assuming that there are two Smithies, that is where the issue could be. You understand? There's no Smithy in our database, so this would not return any rows. But however, if there was a Smithy, this would just return just one row. But if there were two Smithies or more than two Smithies, then we would have a multiple row subquery. So this returns no row selected because there's no Smithy in our database. Okay, so I'll go back to so I want you guys to look at this for 30 seconds. Multiple row subqueries, just look at this for 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds should be over, right? Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Hello, guys. Okay. So let us go back to our earlier question. This one. Okay. So what can we use instead of the greater than sign here? We have said that this would return. This is what this is returning. So what can we use instead of the greater sign operator here?
Any?
Any.
Any, okay. Yes, salary, we say any. Okay. Are you sure? And what do you think this would give us if this query runs?
It should give us the same.
What does any do? Any compares value to each value returned by the subquery. Why don't we try in? Why do you think in worked and any did not work? Huh? So we will answer that question now. Okay, multiple rows of queries return more than one row per query. That's what they do. And then using any, where salary is less than any, or where salary is greater than any, that should work in that case. But what the any clause does is, what any will do is, let us see what any will do. Where salary greater than any, say greater than any, or less than any, as the case may be. So what any does is this. Any would compare each of the values here against each of the values here. So all the salaries that are here that we have when we run this query, all the values here are greater, are supposed to be greater. Where salary greater than any of the values inside this list that we have. What in does is this. Where salary in operates like a list. Now, let me look at this result set. Can you see this? Look at this result set carefully. Okay, before you look at this result set, look at this result. This one. And you can write this down. Can you write this down? Write this down.
Okay. So,
Please write. Have you guys written that down?
still writing, sir.
Just write the result. It's just the result I want you to write down. You know the query often, so just write the result.
Okay.
It's not the query, just the result set. That's the most important thing you want to write.
We have the results now.
Okay. Now look at this result now. And now look at, we have anywhere salary in. That is the query we have run. And let me run this now. And then look at the result set you have written and look at the result set you have here. What do you see? Do you see any similarities?
Yes.
Let me run this again. Maybe you guys are not seeing it, but I think you guys should be getting this. I think you guys should be getting it.
Yeah, a few numbers are the same.
They are the same, exactly. They are the same, exactly. What this is doing is the in clause finds people who earn the same salaries as the people who is find exactly the same salaries. The people who earn exactly the same salaries as these people in the inner query. That is what it does. So it looks in the list, and when it sees something that corresponds to what is in the list, it picks it out, it puts it in a result set. It picks it out, it puts it in a result set. So it's just like you have plenty of clothes, or you go to the market, you want to buy clothes, and then you pick a sample. Then you just look at the sample of the clothes you have in the hand. They bring one, and then you look at it, Shojorawan and Ojorawan, you put it inside the result set. You put it inside the bag you are carrying on. Shojorawan, it looks like it, you put it there. That is what the in does. Now, what any does is this. Any would compare, and any uses the greater than, the less than. I think it uses, then it does not use, I'm not sure any uses equal to, I'm not too certain about that, but I know any uses less than, greater than. I think any also uses not equal to. You understand? But when we have this result set, if you look at this result set we have now, I'm saying it's greater than any. So the result set that we are going to have, all the values we would see here are values that are going to be greater than all of these values.
Okay.
Do you understand? So they are going to be greater than this value. So it's going to do a comparison. And you see all the result sets you have here. Greater than any. I hope you can see the differences in how this query works. So that is what any does. Okay, so using any operator in multiple rows of query, so salary less than any. So it looks here, it finds the salary from employee where job is clerk, and then we have salary less than any. So the salary of any employee we are getting here, their salary must be less than the salary of everybody whose job is a clerk. Our salary must be less than that. You understand? So this job is a clerk now, must be less than that. So that's what this inner query does. It selects people from employees who are clerks. This outer query that is here now, it finds the salary and says the salary must be less than any of the salaries that you are pulling from this place, and gives us that out as a result. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see this gets 950, 800, 110, 1,300. Those are the values it gets into Henny. Henny compares them, and then you can see that, okay, now I get people whose jobs are not clerks. You understand? So that's the last part of the career. Their jobs are not clerks, but their salaries, if we have the salary that is here, on the left right-hand side, we'll see that their salaries would not be this that we are seeing. Okay, using the all operator. The all operator is very similar to the any operator. You can actually say it does the same thing. So it just compares the value to every value returned by a subquery. Understand? It just compares the value. All means more than the maximum. You understand? Less than all mean less than the minimum. You understand? When you see all, when you see greater than all, means more than the maximum. When you see the less than all, it means less than the maximum. So when you see greater than all now, you are saying select average salary from employees group by department number. Now, this query that we have here, we all know that this query is going to give us the average salary in each of the departments. Now, that's the average of the salary of each department. Now, this is going to look at the salary of any employee that earns more than the highest average salary of all these departments. So let's say sales earns 8,500. IT earns the highest average salary. The average salary of, let's say the average salary is 8,500 in sales. The average salary in let's say IT is 2,000. Let's say $2,000. Now we are saying greater than all. That's the average. What this result set to bring, since we are saying greater than all, means more than the maximum. The maximum of the salaries we have here is 8,500. The employees or the result set we will be getting here would be greater than, their salary will be greater than the average salary. That's the highest of the average salary, or the maximum average salary that we have here. So, and then when we move on, we can see that the average salaries come up, and then we can see from our result set that it's people who earn more than those salaries, where their own salary is greater than the average, highest salaries that is coming. So this is multiple column subqueries, where you have a subquery that gives you 2 or more rows as the result. And then we have the main query compares to values from multiple. So you have main query manager 10, then you have the subqueries move into the main queries. And then let's see, I think I have a query that demonstrates that. Okay, so look at this. If you look at this, you can forget the NVL and everything like this. So you are selecting salary in a subquery. We are selecting NVL into commission -1 from employees where department number is starting. So we are selecting the salary, the commission from employees where department is starting. So we are selecting all of them together. That's what we are selecting. So we are saying, so what we are doing is we want to display the name, department number, salary, and commission of any employees whose salary and commission matches both the commission and salary of any employee in department 30. That is why we are using the in clause here. That's why we are using the in clause here. So what happens when you do something like this is you have column comparisons. You understand? It's going to compare it on column levels. The salary is going to compare salary to salary. It's going to compare commission to commission, and then it's going to match them. It's going to match them. It's going to match them. And then afterwards, we now get our own result set. So we also have use column comparison, but on the other side, we have pairwise comparison. We have non-pairwise comparison for columnar operators when we are doing multiple row subqueries. So this is a great example when you are doing what we call non-pairwise comparison subqueries. And this is another example of when you're, okay, I think this is where we're not modifying any tables in this class. So when we are doing non-pairwise comparison, I think the other one we have here, I think is when we are doing, when we are matching it in a pairwise way. And then when we are matching this one in a pairwise way, when we are trying to look at non-columnar comparisons. So I know you most likely have questions about the multiple columns of queries, but I will just ask you to just hold on to your questions for a bit. Let me switch my slides. Give me a minute. So we are trying to power through. That's why I'm saying you should hold on to your questions, and we want to look at joins. We've not touched joins, and that should be the last thing we'll touch actually. So I think there should be a possibility of us having another class. I'm not too sure, but hopefully that will be possible. But the exercises you'll be getting will give you ample opportunities to just you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, so what we will give you ample opportunities to how do we put it, to practice everything we've talked about together. So SQL joins, or joins as we call them, what they try to do, there are different types. We have inner join or equi join, and those would rely on what we call surrogate keys or natural keys. You have outer join, we have full outer join, we have self join, or what they call Cartesian join, and we have joint behavior inheritance trees. But the ones you would use mostly, we also have set operations, which we are not covering in this class. We have set operations like use, we have use all, we have except, we have intersect, we have quite a number of set operations that we can perform on in SQL when you're trying to still do any of these things that we are talking about. Okay, so what we will talk about, or what we usually use, is what we call an inner join. And then we will touch also on this is not here, but we also have what we call the left join. We have what we call the right join, and then we have the full outer join, self join, and things like that. Okay, so inner join. What the inner join does is just finds the intersection, basically. You have two columns or two tables, and then there is your primary key in one table that exists as a foreign key in another table. And you want to pick result sets from two tables. Then what you'll be joining on is you'll be joining on the key that is common to both tables. And then what that is going to give you is, it's going to give you every row where your primary key and where it exists as a primary key, and there is a corresponding foreign key in another column or in another table. That is all the values it will give you when we talk about inner joins. It's going to give you all of those values. An inner join is also called an equijoin or equality join. You say an inner join matches on one or on a set of columns values from one table. So when one table is involved, an inner join creates an intersection between two copies of a single table, typically done with two different column names. Because you might have the same column names. When you have the same column name, that is when you properly define the name of your column. You do something like, let's say you have an employee table, and then you have job ID there. And then you have, let's say, department table, and then it's the same job ID that is there. If you want to join both tables, if you want to join both tables, what you would be doing is both tables, you are going to join them with employee dot job ID. And the table you are joining also, you are going to reference that table completely with the you're going to reference it completely with the name of the table dot the name of the column. So that also is not going to be department dot job ID, so that the SQL engine does not confuse itself. That's how you're going to properly reference that. Then so you have, so you, this is typically what you will write here typically is okay. Yes, I think we can. Okay. So this is a good example for us here. So you have okay, we have selected A dot column 1, and this A that we are talking about here is, this is a table name, and B is another table name. So you are saying from table 1, A, inner join, or inner join table 1, depends on how you want to write it. Most people write this way. Let me write it so that you have an idea of what the join looks like. So you say select, let's say we have selected, let's say we have let's say column A dot column 1, comma B dot col 2. We are saying from the first table, let's say the first table is table 1. Then the next thing we will now see is, depending on the type of join we are doing, we'll say inner join. We will now mention, now if we wanted to, this is table 1, we have said it is A now. We will say table 1 as A, or table 1A, inner join. The next table we want to join is table 2. Table 2B, or table 2 as B. And we will now say on what joins them together. A dot column 1 equals B dot column 2. Now, but if you look at what we have here, you see that this is a primary key, this is a foreign key. So this A exists as B here, but in this column PK, in table A, this column is the primary key. In table B, this column is the foreign key. That is why we can join them together. That is why we can join them together. So is this understandable to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for outer join, for left join, is the same thing. The only thing you change here is you put left join here. For right join, it's still the same thing. You just put right join here. But how left join operates is different, in the sense that what left join does is, when you are using a left join takes everything in that left table and what matches it in the right table. So where there are matching values or corresponding matching values in the right table, it takes it, but everything in the left table is still there. The inner join would only show you values that are connected. Where they match, it will show you. But the left join will show you what is in B and what is in A that is in B. When you are doing a right join will show you everything that is in A and what is in A, what is in B that is in A. Most people don't use a right join, because what you write as a right join, you can write the same thing as a left join. The only difference is you are now changing how you order your table, and then which table you are calling your left table. So that's about all. So with that, we have come to the end of the class today. I know this SQL joins might still seem a little bit tacky. So I believe we would have maybe a class, maybe not this Saturday, but maybe sometimes next week or maybe during this weekend, to probably just take joins and then look at maybe a few examples of how joins operate. And then I think with that we'll be done. We'll be done with all of the classes with the SQL sprint that we are doing. So thanks so much for joining the class.
Thank you so much, sir.
I wish you all a good night rest. Your capstone project will be coming in tomorrow or Sunday. Then it's something you've all, from everything we've done so far. I know you guys, you probably have some questions, but I believe these are things that you would find interesting to solve. That is one, would help your portfolio. That is two. But more importantly, I believe it will be a great way for you to just practice your hands-on skills and just learn SQL better. So
Yes,
thank you
sir.
so much, everyone. I wish you all a good night rest. And bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank
Yes,
you so
bye.
much, sir. Thank you, sir.